So, as mentioned, our next event on the track, another final here. This is the 1600 metre restricted final, sponsored by Dual Heating and Air Conditioning. So scratchings here, you can scratch white, green, grey and orange. White, green, grey and orange. Charlie Blanche, our back mark in the red, is off 85. We've got Taj Davies off the corrected mark of 75 in the blue. Marcus Overman in the yellow off 130. The pink, Nicholas Callahan off 150 alongside the black, Hamish Dobie off 150. The purple, Ingrid Woodward off 300. And the red and white, Miller Hopkins off 350. So you can see here on the home straight, Miller Hopkins, will be our front mark. She's off at 350 metres here. This is a 1600 metre event. So everyone on the infield, please, if you could be seated. Everyone on the infield of the track here, if you could please be seated. We're about to run the final here of the mile. So everyone's seated on the infield, and very shortly we'll be in the starters' hands for the final. Everyone down on the infield, final about to take place. Everyone down. So away here, this is the 1600 metre final for the restricted final, sponsored by Dual Heating and Air Conditioning. So as they go away, Miller Hopkins leads the field, so she goes through. In second spot at the moment is Ingrid Woodward. A big gap behind then to Hamish Dobie. So Dobie's there. On his shoulder is Nicholas Callanan, with on his shoulder as well Marcus Overman. A gap behind then to the back marker Charlie Blanche, who's gone past Taj Davies. So small field here as down the back goes Mila Hopkins. So Hopkins with a nice lead at this stage. Woodward gets closer and closer as they go through. So those two down the back as we head to the front straight here, and leading that little pack there is Marcus Overman, and on his shoulder is Hamish Dobie, with the pink going with him is Nicholas Callanan. The back marker Charlie Blanche starts to come through, and he's gone past Taj Davies. Out in front though, it's still Mila Hopkins. So Hopkins with a nice lead at this stage as she comes through. So Hopkins leads about 30 or 40 ahead of Woodward in second spot, who's been in good form of late. Gap behind then, a big one at that, to the yellow Marcus Overman as he travels down the back. So Overman with a nice lead ahead of Marcus Hamish Dobie there in the pink of Nicholas Callanan. Now Charlie Blanche and Taj Davies go together as they head down the back. Out in front though, still the red and white here of Mila Hopkins. So Hopkins with a nice lead at this stage. So Hopkins goes through and Woodward gets closer and closer. So these two out in front with a nice lead. 100 metres or so behind to Overman. So Overman starts to open up, and Overman goes ahead of Hamish Dobie there, who is in fourth spot, with on his shoulder Nicholas Callanan. And then we go back to Taj Davies and Charlie Blanche. Out in front though, Hopkins is about to be joined and passed by Ingrid Woodward. So Woodward, the new leader, she heads down the back now. Ingrid Woodward's our race leader and starts to open up a nice lead with Hopkins in second. Now Marcus Overman in third, starting to get closer, with a gap behind then to Dobie. On his shoulder as well as Callanan, and Davies and Blanche, the two back markers, go together. Out in front though, it's Woodward with a nice lead now. So Woodward heads around that top bend. So Woodward opens up 30 or 40 ahead of Hopkins. Now keep an eye on the yellow there of Marcus Overman as he gets closer. A big gap behind then to Dobie, with the pink of Callanan running a good race, and now Davies and Blanche, the two back markers, still with a fair task ahead of them. Out in front though, it's Woodward. So Woodward leads them in now. Can she hold on for a victory here? So Woodward with a nice lead. Marcus Overman, he makes his way into second now and goes past Hopkins. So Woodward with a nice lead, and she's about to get the bell. 1 lap to go in the final of the 1600 metre restricted final, sponsored by Dual Heating and Air Conditioning. It's Woodward in front. Overman's getting closer. He gets the bell and goes through. Hopkins in third. A gap behind then to Dobie, with the pink running a good race. Callanan and the two back markers Davies and Blanche edging closer. Out in front though, it's still Ingrid Woodward about to be passed and joined by Marcus Overman. So Overman goes up and goes past Woodward and he sets for home. So Overman, he's got a huge lead here. The back markers are getting closer, but they're going to have to get a move on. Out in front though, Marcus Overman with around 2:20 to go, got a commanding lead. Making his way into third now is Taj Davies, and Davies heads down the back and puts the foot down. But out in front, Overman still with a commanding lead. It's Overman with around 150 to go here in the final of the restricted final. So Overman about to straighten up into the home stretch. Woodward still got second. Davies is getting closer, but still a huge task ahead of him. Out in front though, this has been a beautifully timed run by Marcus Overman. He's feeling the pinch, but I think he's done enough and he'll take it out. A great run here from Marcus Overman, who will win the restricted final here. Taj Davies storms home. He's going to take second. Woodward will get third. The back marker Blanche, he'll get fourth. A good go for the other miners here between Hamish Dobie and the pink of Nicholas Callanan. And still coming in now is the red and white there of Miller Hopkins. But well done to Marcus Overman. Beautifully timed run in the yellow. He'll be our winner. We'll confirm the placings and official times shortly as Hopkins comes in. Well done to our athletes. So we've just seen the running of the 1600 metre restricted final, sponsored by Dual Heating and Air Conditioning. We'll get our presentation underway shortly. We'll grab our first three place getters. So well done to our winner in the yellow. Marcus Overman was our winner. In second was the blue of Taj Davies. Third, the purple, Ingrid Woodward. The time was 4:15.81. 4:15.81, the winning time there for Marcus Overman. So if we could grab Marcus, Taj and Ingrid, we'll head down to the presentation area. We'll get Marcus, Taj and Ingrid. We'll head over to the presentation area. 4:15.81, the winning time for Marcus Overman. That was the final there, the 1600 metre restricted, sponsored by Dual Heating and Air Conditioning.